They want someone to root for that's their hero. Whether it's Quark, I mean, like, why? But you might pick Quark.
Why?
Exactly.
Who
Why?
would root for Quark?
Welcome, friends and fans, to another edition of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And we hope your new year is off to a great start, and it's about to get even better, because we are going back to Terrak Nor with the amazingly talented cast of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So without further ado, let's beam them up. Our first guest is an actor and the co-host of the Seventh Rule podcast, who today joins us to discuss the role of writer and war correspondent Jake Sisko. Please welcome Cirroc Lofton.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, how you doing today, boss?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no, thanks for joining us here on our forum. And seriously, over on your show, you and your team are doing a fantastic job, really, with the podcast and just going back and re-examining the lore and the episodes and sharing the good memories. And you're doing a really good job over there.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, Ryan and I have been really committed to keeping Aaron Eisenberg's memory alive and his dream alive, and working with our wonderful team and reliving these episodes and, finding out how talented the Deep Space Nine cast and crew is really a special thing for me now as an adult to relive. So, yeah, I'm having a good time.
Right on. Well, thanks again for joining us here on our line forum. And speaking of the amazing cast, let's start to bring the rest of them out. Our next guest is an actor whose body of work includes Dirty Harry, Charlie Varick, and Hellraiser. Today he joins us to talk about his role as former member of the Cardassian Obsidian Order turned humble tailor, Elam Garak. Please welcome back Andrew Robinson.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Hi, Patty.
Hey, Andy. How you been?
I've been and then some.
Oh, wow. It's good to have you back. Everything's been good in your world?
Yeah, listen, everything is, it's all relative, isn't it? But here, and you should know, better than most, we're still alive. We're still here.
Yes.
We're still healthy. We're still able to do this, and for that, I'm grateful.
Well, Andy, as always, I'm grateful to have you back and glad to see you in good health and good spirit.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And next, he is an actor whose body of work includes the Reanimator series, The Frighteners, Justice League Unlimited, and the highly undervalued film Dr. Mordred. Today, he joins us to talk about his numerous Trek roles, including several Weyouns. Please welcome back Jeffrey Combs.
Hello, everybody. You have Hellraiser and Reanimator on this Star Trek panel.
I know.
I don't know what to say.
Well, again, sir, your incredibly eclectic body of work is well spoken of. I'm hoping we can get you on someday with some of the Batman or Justice League cast, because I'm a big fan of your version of the question. So and your Scarecrow, and I'm a fan. I'm a fan of all.
In the meantime, Andy and I are planning on taking over the world.
That's right. Exactly.
Well, there's still, I've always said there's so much fertility left post final episode of DS9, and there's still some. Yes, there's still some Weyouns out there, and Adri's characters out there, and
I'd like to point out to you, Andy is the one who killed the supposedly last Weyoun.
You'll never get over this, will you?
Well, it's what I never get over is that's the only time that you and I worked together in the same scene in the entire canon of Deep Space Nine, and I don't understand that. I think that with the two of us, they thought that the camera would break. That's what I think.
Two makeup guys in one scene. Nah.
Anyway, pleasure to be here. Happy New Year.
Oh, yeah, Jeff, welcome back. Always a pleasure. And next, she's an actress whose work includes Back to School, Paper Dolls, and Becker. Today, she joins us to discuss the role of the 8th host of the Dax symbiote, Lieutenant Commander Jadzia Dax. Please welcome back the always lovely Terry Farrell.
Yay!
Hi, guys.
Terry.
Thank you for having me.
Always our pleasure. Terry, how have you been?
Good. Thank you. Really good. Surviving this, right?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to like go, hey, can we all go out and really hang out together?
Well, I think we took 3 steps forward, and I think we took 1 step back. But I still like to think that we're ahead of where we were a year and a half ago.
Well, as long as you're vaccinated, yeah, I think. Sure. Yeah, for sure.
Right, we'll get there.
Right.
We will.
I do have a couple of family members that cannot be vaccinated, which changes my world a little bit.
Yeah.
Fair. That's understandable.
I mean, imagine when we were in this world without vaccinations. So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And imagine how great it would be if Dr. Bashir was real and we were already in the 21st century.
At the beginning when we all started this, I used to say, hey, we see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we got out of the tunnel. We hit another tunnel, but I think that tunnel is going to be smaller than the last one.
And that happens when you're on the highway of life traveling, right?
Absolutely. Well, Terry, once again, thanks for coming back and joining us. Always a pleasure. And I miss you. I miss all of you guys. I'm looking forward to getting us all on a physical stage someday. So we'll get there. In the meantime, our next guest is an actress whose credits include The Cube, The Dead Zone, and Private Eyes. Today, she joins us to discuss the role as the 9th host of the Dax Symbiont, Lieutenant and Counselor Ezri Dax. Please welcome back Nicole Boer.
Hello.
Hey.
Happy New Year. Happy 2022. Good to see your faces. Hi, Patty. Thanks for having me.
Oh, our pleasure is all ours. How have you been, Nicole?
Good. I'm just drinking just finished my green juice and just getting over Omicron for Christmas. It was fun. But
you and I are in that same boat. Yeah.
Here we are, 2022.
Yes, we are.
And what a futuristic number that seemed to me as a little kid. 2022. And here it is.
In the year 2022.
Right.
If we still wear shoes. Yeah, where's my jetpack? That's all I want to know. Where's the jetpack?
Yeah, we're in Jetsons mode now.
Right.
You think so? Well, Nicole, welcome back. Always a pleasure. And next, and finally, he is an actor and author whose body of work includes Beauty and the Beast, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and the Merchant print novel series. His latest novel, Betrayal of Angels, is available now, and today he joins us to discuss his role as owner of Quark's Bar, Grill, Gaming House, and Hollow Sweet Arcade. Please welcome back Armin Shimerman.
Wow.
Whoa.
How much did you pay for that?
Oh, I had to pay him a
Special
lot.
effects there.
I want fireworks next time, guys.
Wow.
All right.
What an entrance.
Armin, how have you been?
Lucky. I've been very lucky. I haven't gotten any of the diseases, but then I've been hibernating for 2 years, so I haven't seen anybody but my wife, and even I don't see that often. So.
Well, you certainly kept busy. Last we spoke, Betrayal was just about to be released, but it has been released since then. Real quick, tell our audience about it.
I'm writing a trilogy about his. Thank you, Jeff. There's my publicist, Jeff Combs, right there. See,
yes.
Hey, Jeff, don't cover up the last name. Don't cover up the last name. I can see Armin, but I can't see Shimerman. Okay.
Where is it? There it is.
There it is.
Nice.
So that's
an apt title for us these days. The Sea of Troubles.
The Sea of Troubles. My book, as the title probably suggests, has something to do with Shakespeare. It certainly has to do with the Elizabethan era. It's a time travel adventure, nothing science fiction, but it takes you back into that time, and I try to create a world that is very familiar to people who are familiar with that world, but also accessible to people who are not familiar with that world. And it's a great delight to write. There are several writers on this panel, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to do that. And like Mr. Combs there, is it Combs or Coombs, Jeff?
I don't know. It's Combs.
It's Combs, okay. Because I heard different before.
I don't even.
It might have been after a few.
Well, whenever you go to Britain, whenever you go to the UK, Mr. Coombs, and it's like, well, maybe centuries ago. That's how.
That's right.
I get that as well. Is it Shimerman or Shimerman? So.
Yeah.
And Armin. Oh, my name is very difficult. But all the names on Deep Space Nine, except for Terry and Nicole, and maybe Andy, All of it. Very,
I
very
think
strange name.
Nicole's
My
last
name is
name
common
can
as
be
dirt.
very
Sour.
challenging. Don't you
I
think?
suppose.
Yeah. Nicole, your last name.
Yeah, I get
Boer?
weird pronunciation.
What does the Boer mean? Is it of a place?
The land, the farmer of the land. It's Dutch, like the Boer War.
Oh, it's romantic.
Oh, land of the land.
Of the land. It's very common. If you go to the Netherlands, look in the phone book, it's like Smith, Jones.
Well, it's kind of like my last name. The origination of Combs is a place. Between two hills is a coombe.
Ah, not as in cattycombs.
Or honeycombs.
And
Honeycomb.
those
Oh,
Honeycomb,
and
That's
to those that are
you.
and to
Jeffrey,
those that are
Ezri.
audience, to those that are audience don't know
I'm
what a
writing
phone
this all
book is.
down. It goes in the novel. All of you, keep talking. Keep talking.
Definitely a honeycomb.
Definitely a labyrinth of getting stung. That's right.
Well, friends, welcome back to the GalaxyCon virtual stage, or in Cirroc, your case, welcome to the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Our team's going through the chat room right now, pulling out the questions for us. In the meantime, since we have Jeff, we've had you on before,
Yes,
but
a couple times, Joe.
But I have not heard how DS9 began for you, so I'd love to hear how it began for you and Cirroc.
Well, how did it begin with me? An audition. You know, I tried. I couldn't get arrested on Next Gen. Could not get an audition for it. So Deep Space Nine, I think I went in for 2 or 3 times, and then I had the great good fortune of having an audition, and it was directed by Mr. Jonathan Frakes, and he's the man who cast me, and that kind of got me on the dance floor. And it was a oneer kind of role. And Rene Aubergimois, this is just the little things. It's the little connections. Rene, who I'd done theater with, was getting ready to direct his first episode of Deep Space Nine, a Ferengi episode, and suggested me to play Brunt. And the rest is great good fortune on my part.
God bless Rene.
God bless him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
To our absent friends, Renee and Aaron. Absolutely.
And others.
Yes,
and others.
Absolutely. Cirroc, we go all the way back to the beginning. For you, how did DS9 begin for you at such a tender age?
Well, just like in Jeff's case, it was an audition. And, you know, my mom used to drag me to these auditions and wait for me after school or pick me up and shuffle me around and, you know, get me a Coke to get me all excited. So I'd have a Coca-Cola right before I walk in the audition to be amped up. But I guess, you know, I kind of learned later on, because I don't remember the audition that much. I do remember Ron, the casting director, giving me a wink as I left the audition. And that wink kind of made me feel really good and confident about it. But having talked to Avery about it, he says, which I didn't remember this, but it was good to know, that when I walked into the audition room, the first thing I did was say, "Dad!" And I ran over and gave him a hug. And I guess that distinguished me from the other kids that were auditioning for this role. And he said that's when he knew. So
how sweet.
I wish I could remember it like
that's
that.
That's amazing you did that. I mean, either you were the sweetest kid on earth or the smartest.
Yeah.
Or the most caffeine high.
Caffeine, that's right.
How old were you, Cirroc?
I probably was around 12.
Oh God, you were so freaking
cute. So, how many auditions did you have, and how long did it take? Because I know what mine went through. What was yours? What was your experience? How many auditions did you have?
I think it was about 3 or 4 auditions. And, you know, the first one, you get into the room full of people and there's, 50 or 100 people in the room. And then as you get the call back, you see the numbers getting thinner and thinner. And I think at the final audition, there were 3 of us. And I remember that I was taller, even though I was short at the time, I was still taller than the other 2 kids. And so I figured, okay, I'm different. They're not exactly sure what they're looking for. But as soon as I saw Avery, obviously, I just went from there. And took
Hey, Cirroc,
yeah.
did you like going on the auditions that your mom was sending you out on, or was it kind of, were you resistant to it?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. I liked the opportunity to kind of do something different. I was in the gifted program at school, so I was always looking for challenges. And to me, this was kind of a challenge, and this was also an excuse to do something different, which is travel and be on the set and work with adults and work
not
on
necessarily have to go to school anymore, even
not necessarily have to go to school as
Mm-hmm.
much, and also be more popular in school because kids would see commercials and things that I did. The commercials resonated harder with the children of my age at the time because they were Rice Krispies and McDonald's and Capri Sun and the products that we consumed as kids. So I became popular from those commercials in school. So that kind of fed the desire to continue because I got positive response from people, and then eventually went from commercials to more serious work. And here we
Did you ever meet the other 2 kids who were in the audition room with you?
No, I may have. I think one of them went on to do other shows. There was only a small group of Black children who were actors.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of knew each other. There were only so many of us. So we would always run into each other. The Lamont Bentleys, the Merlin Santanas, Donald Faison, Nick Cannon eventually came into that fold a little bit later, but we were all of the same age and always kind of, seeing each other at auditions. So there's only so many of us.
Yeah, I call those audition buddies. Over here on my side of the coast for calls, yeah, it's like the same 4 or 5 guys, my height, my energy. It's okay, they're looking for a type, I see. But yeah, I hear you on that. So, well, team, we are good to go on our audience questions. Cirroc and Jeffrey, thank you for sharing your genesis into DS9, and let's go ahead and roll our first one. And this comes from Lisa, known as #1 Trek fan. How do you describe DS9 to someone who has never seen it? Oh my!
The best. We're the
best. I guess in the documentary, I said that all of the Star Treks are to seek out new life and new civilizations, whereas Deep Space Nine was more interested in seeking inward instead of outward. The struggle of being in a place where everybody had to try to be in harmony, and that exploration inward as opposed to outward. That doesn't mean there weren't wars and fights and adventures and all of that, but it was a different tone that I think holds up. It has really found its own. There was a lot of resistance to the chapter idea. Wait till next week to continue this story. They wanted standalone stuff, but Ira wouldn't have any of that. And look at it now.
That was a brilliant, groundbreaking choice too.
It was, because now today, that's exactly what people want when they
that's right.
when they go stream. That will right away go to the next chapter. You can turn the page and keep reading.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait a week.
And there were huge fights. The studio did not want Ira and Michael to write those things, and they fought hard and they won, and they were right.
And they were right.
They sure were. Yeah.
That's like a soap style.
Yes, exactly. Except for the
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Except for soap, it's the next day. The challenge with Deep Space Nine was that it's a week away, and then a lot of the time the show would get preempted by something, and then it's 2 weeks, and people would go, I experienced this myself. Like, well, I catch up time. I don't really know what's going on here. Well, so it's all clear now.
Yeah, it's perfect for binge watching now. I mean, how we binge watch television, it's perfect for that.
Easier.
I don't know about you guys, but I can't.
Yeah, you had to remember back then. You had to remember
that was
week,
hard.
You know.
I would say too, if somebody asks me what I liked about our show, is that when you watch our show, there isn't just an arc to the year of storytelling, but there's also arcs to each character, whether they're, I mean, to every character. You don't have to be in the front credits to be in the only characters that have arcs to them, but everybody has a character, and there's usually like 2 or 3 storylines to follow in each episode. I mean, I remember it was the first time I knew that they were, it's the A, B, C, and a D storyline. And I was in 3 of them. And it was the first time I think it was in the first season. It was pretty much Column's episode, but I was in the fringe of everybody's episode. And it was like, oh my gosh, there's so much going on. You know, there's some episodes where you're just in one portion.
Right.
So after doing the show for a while, I would just take out the section I was in, so I'd get less confused by everything else that was going on, you know, because if you're not supposed to know the information once you've read the episode, it was just easier for me. But that's what I tell people about the story arcs for each person. And I think it's good because I do think a lot of people care about watching a show where they're going to care about the characters. That makes them want to keep coming back. They want someone to root for that's their hero. Whether it's Quark, I mean, like, why? But you might pick Quark.
Why?
Exactly.
Who
Why?
would root for Quark?
Why?
Or you can root for that worm. I suppose you can do that if you want.
Exactly. I'm just passing the ball, Armin.
I would tell somebody who hasn't seen the show, and if I was to explain it to them, I would say, if you want to see a show with very good writing, very good acting, well produced, that has stories that are going to make you laugh, stories that are going to make you cry, characters that you're going to be interested in and have an opinion about, then watch this show. Mm-hmm. And you will be fulfilled in those kinds of ways.
Yes.
Well said.
It's extraordinary writing, extraordinary acting, excellent directing. And as everyone has said, the arcs were fascinating and interesting and surprising.
And I think we would all agree that we all, as actors, were supported by all of the categories, hair, makeup, wardrobe, is just top drawer sort of. We couldn't do it. Props, we couldn't do it. Lighting. I'm so struck now when I watch Deep Space Now how beautifully it's shot.
That's
you
right.
know, I talked to the DP recently, and he said, "Well, we called it, space noir."
That's right.
And if you look at the lighting, all this dappled shadows, it's from above. It's just gorgeous stuff.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's really the only way I would want to be lit. It spoiled me for I just always want to look like that. Like I'm on these cool, And coming into the show at the time I did, I've said it before, but it really was, and to the nature of the ongoing arc as opposed to standalone episodes too, gives you that feeling as the viewer. It's not like I mean, there's great episodes, great actors in Next Gen and all that, but because of standalone, you feel like you pop in and out, or you can play this, but you have this notion as a viewer that they're always there. Those characters are always there going through it, and that's what's so great about the ongoing series thing. And then when I came into it, I'm dropped in. It was literally like you're an avatar, like you come into this world, and I'm like, here I am, and it's fully realized, and the sets are gorgeous, and the quality of everything. And then I'm with all these amazing actors. I mean, it was just nothing like it. It was just the quality of it, and it was really like being in this world.
I just regret that Weyoun never went into Garak's tailor shop and asked for a new suit.
No,
I think that would have been a delicious.
He would have made you a nice one.
Yeah,
he would have really crafted something so special before he killed you.
That's right. They would have a knife in the back of it, though.
But you know, I always go back to the writing with this show.
Yes,
and because that's where it all begins,
right?
Truly. But everything that everyone is saying about the production values and the craftspeople, the artists who were involved in creating the look and the feel of the show, without question. I mean, what's his name? That set was, you know, I remember the first day I saw that set.
Hans Zimmerman.
That's right. I'd never seen anything like that before in my life.
Gobsmacking.
And I was kind of jaded because I had done, you know, because I'm older than dirt. I had done a lot of episodic television in the 70s and the 80s, and I actually quit the business because I just didn't want to do it anymore. And so when I went back to episodic television, it was after my hiatus, I was still thinking, oh Christ, do I have to do this to pay the rent? I guess I do. And that's the only reason why I showed up at the audition for Garak, was because I didn't want to go. But Irene said, we have to pay the rent. So, okay, we go.
Oh, she's so mean.
No, she's so mean. She's so smart. Thank God. But then I realized this is a different deal. I'm in a different situation here. I'm working with people who really care about what they've written, and who are craftspeople, who are artists.
You know, Andy, I think it's kind of, to me, it was like, oh, this is about as close as you get to repertory theater.
Absolutely.
In television and film. This is, I know this, I feel this. This is an ensemble mentality and high level. So,
unlike repertory theater, and kudos to the designers, they had a week. The writers had more time. They had several weeks to map out a story. But to the designers who got the script about the same time we did, perhaps a day or two before we did, they had to design all those things within a week and make all those great creations and come up with those brilliant ideas, lickety-split. And it's incredible. I feel badly for the costume designers who were not only working on our show, but working on the other show as well. And they had 2 shows that they had to create for. It's phenomenal how they did that for 7 years.
Yeah, the same
with Mike Westmore. Westmore. He'd be in my chair and oh my gosh, what are you doing tonight, Mike? Are you going to watch Seinfeld? I can't tonight because I've got to create an alien for tomorrow. Tomorrow? Yeah, it's got to be done by tomorrow.
And call time for the alien is 4:30 in the morning. So, not even really tomorrow. It's
oh my gosh.
Yeah, Michael had a book about insects that he looked at all the time. He'd go into the book and find an insect and design some makeup after the look of an insect. And I know what insect the Ferengi were modeled after.
He's amazing.
Oh, wow. Well, for my own 2 cents, I think if I had to describe DS9, I would say, well, if the other Star Trek shows are about exploration and encountering and that first contact and everything else, DS9, from a Trek fan perspective, to me, was it really went into, it nestled in the Star Trek universe. It really got an idea of, what are some of the day-to-day stuff? And it answered a lot of it. And the nice thing about it was not deconstructionist at all. It didn't compromise anything that Roddenberry envisioned or it set out to. And one of my all-time favorite scenes, actually, between Cirroc and Armin was when talking about when Jake sold his story and Farrell's like, well, what'd you make for it? It's like, oh, I didn't. We don't get paid. And yeah, he's losing his mind. Like, what do you mean you don't get paid? You did something and you don't get paid, and it didn't necessarily explain how, but it put it on out there. And to me, I think that was the magic of it. It really was from a Trek nerd perspective. It answered some of the questions that we all had in the back of our heads. And Lisa, that was a great question. Thank you so much. Let's go and roll another one. And from Mark, if given the chance, would you like to really visit a space station versus the ISS?
No.
No.
Yes.
Yeah,
Not unless,
for sure.
not unless it was like Deep Space Nine. Theirs is too cramped.
Is there food? Is there a food court?
There's no food court.
I would love it.
I would go.
I wouldn't love like the bodily, like having to go to the bathroom.
You see, there's always something that's not
but I
going to
would
be fun
still
about it.
do it to be able to float around and see the view and see how it all works. That would be cool. But I wouldn't do some one-way trip to Mars. Sorry, I'm good.
And I would not want to go up there for a long period of time, maybe a week or something, and then.
What is it? 9 minutes? You can do what Shatner did. 9 minutes, 8 minutes.
Yeah, do one of those. The thing
cool.
that Bill Shatner did. Do that.
Yeah, he did it for free.
Yep.
Well,
we could do that. We all could do that one day.
I'd go to for that.
Yeah, totally.
There's no like lifetime commitment for that. Although that is sort of scary too.
Are you kidding? That's totally scary. You're like, oh, watch this be the one. Oh yeah, the last.
Yeah, this will be the one where they crash. When Michael Strahan was talking about it on Good Morning America, and I was like, okay, yeah, you got to consider you're saying kind of goodbye to your family the night before you're going. It's not like getting in the car.
No.
Yet.
Way not like getting in your car.
Way not.
It's like,
they didn't land in water. They landed.
Yeah, it just takes one little oops, and you're not coming back.
No thanks.
Yeah. So,
I don't even like getting on airplanes. So
that's right.
No, he doesn't. You're not making that up.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, Mark. And let's roll another one. And here's one from Adam G. What was the most surprising thing you learned about Star Trek in preparing for your role? Or maybe something that you learned during the process?
I think the Lucille Ball connection I did not know when I very first.
Desilu, that's right.
Desilu, yeah, and her saving the show. I didn't know any of that. And that was a really cool surprise.
Oh, very cool. Yes, that was a huge surprise. Yes, that was.
I knew nothing, so the whole thing was a surprise to me. Yeah. Genuinely surprised.
I think the hours, the when you play an alien and the call time that you have to be ready when everybody else who's like Terry or Nicole or Cirroc, just you just show up and like, where's craft service? Oh yeah, I'll have a breakfast burrito. Thank you. I'll be in my trailer.
I felt really bad for you guys. I really felt bad.
Oh right, good. That's good.
Well, Nicole didn't have a wig either. I was there for 2 hours before start, so you were ahead of me a little bit, but not by much. I was there. I had 4 a.m., 5 a.m. calls.
I think the hardest part of it was you're there at 4:30 in the morning, right, Andy and Armin?
Yes.
But let's say you have a line-heavy show and you only got the rewrites like the night before, and here's this precious time when you're awake, and you can't really.
Well, that's the blessing, Jeff. That actually, the glass is half full with that. Because most of the time, I got a chance to run lines with Renee or Andy or you, for that matter, or Max.
Right, that's true.
But they were sitting right next to me, and we had 2 hours to do nothing but run lines. It was a blessing. It was a blessing.
That's true. But I don't do well just sitting in one spot with my glasses off because, without contact lenses or glass, I can't really even see the script. Like, what is that line? So to me, it was kind of a frustrating, I need work to do here, but I have to remain still. Maybe that was a good thing.
I know Brent Spiner said that he had to be off book the night before because those gargantuan yellow contacts, he could not read and could barely do the blocking. So, Jeff, how long for the Weyouns? How long in the makeup chair to put it on, and how long to take it off?
2.5 hours and about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes to get it off.
Oh, that's not bad. That's better than Armin, that's for sure.
Yes and no, 2 hours for the makeup, but an hour to take it off. And it's an hour at the end of the day that was the most excruciating.
And the difference between
2 hours of prepping, that was good. But the hour when everybody has said goodnight, everybody's gone home and they have to be back in 12 hours.
Right.
And Karen and I are still there, trying to scrape off the orange makeup. That was the hard part.
Andy, how about you? How long in the makeup chair?
It started. My very first call was 2:30 in the morning, and it took over 4 hours because it was not a makeup that that they were that familiar with, and also they were working with new prosthetics, even from the time that Mark Alimo or David Warner first were doing Cardassians.
Yeah.
And so it stayed at 4 hours for around in the neighborhood of 4 hours for a long time, and then gradually it came down to about, I would say, 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours. Then and it was always about a half hour to get off.
It's not bad.
And Andy's makeup was not only more complicated, but in addition to that, he had to wear that wetsuit as a costume as well. Not always. But Cardassians always had those wetsuits, which I always felt really bad.
They always, they did back, all the costumes were at least backed with furniture kind of pads. I mean, it was
And those shoulders things was another addition to the makeup time. It's not just your face; it's these things. Oh my God.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and Daddy, I know you're going to ask me, so I will tell you, it was about 300 seconds to put the makeup on, about 30 seconds to get
No
off.
one was going to ask you, Sarah.
Yeah.
How many hours in school, Cirroc? How many hours in school?
4 hours in school, so that was my makeup.
I will ask you on Adam's original question, Cirroc. What was the biggest thing from when you got the role? What was the most interesting thing that you learned about Star Trek during the process?
The following behind Star Trek, I kind of wasn't aware of the following, really. I had no idea about the fan base and how much they were in tune with the show. I remember in the beginning kind of facing a little bit of criticism about being a dark show. And I don't know, it just felt like the feedback was questioning what we were doing. And that kind of was the insight to the fan base having, a very strict appreciation for what they like. And so it took a while to gain acceptance into it, but really just learning about how wide and strong and powerful the fan base is. It became something that was kind of like mind-blowing to me when I started to see conventions and people at conventions taking such a high interest in the thing that they love. So the passion behind Star Trek was really the thing that I learned the most.
And that passion worked against us, as Cirroc was saying in the beginning. People did not like our show, because we weren't doing what was expected of a Star Trek show to do, and they just didn't want us to be there at all. But eventually, when they realized what creativity was happening in our show, they came out. And as has been said many times, it took longer than our show being on the air for that to happen. It took reruns, it took streaming, it took people taking a look and saying, you know what, I didn't like the show in the beginning, but now I do. And I think they've matured and they've realized how mature the show was as well.
Hey, Armin, I have a question for you. This always irked me that 7 years of Deep Space Nine, was any actor ever nominated for an Emmy?
No, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. We've done some of the best acting work I've seen, including myself. What the hell is he doing here?
Get out of here!
Yeah, that's so typical.
That was
every time you get something going, that guy shows up.
Hey, just so you guys know, I have nothing to do with it.
All right, okay.
Yeah. Sure.
But it's like we're sort of the Filene's bargain basement, of
science fiction actors never get nominated for Emmys. I think the Academy just doesn't care about actors in science. they attribute to something else. They can't either get past the makeup or they can't get past the sci-fi.
Well, that shows their
some of us, not only on our show, but on some of the other shows as well, deserve.
They don't realize how much harder it is,
right?
To convey something through the mask.
It's snobbery. It's elitism.
It's snobbery.
You know, it's putting, you know.
Well, it's actors too. I mean, that vote on us, right?
Right.
So it's not, the Academy's not some secret group.
That's
that
what I mean. It doesn't make any difference who's voting. It's like we've been conditioned to believe that this, you know, this is like cult stuff. This is
This isn't serious.
It's so crazy when you think about all the amazing theater actors. I mean, amazing actors. It's so crazy that it's viewed that way. I think it's a bit better now, than it was then.
Well, they would get a lot of
sci-fi actor that's been nominated for.
Yeah.
Well, they get nominated for special effects makeup, or they'd get. You know, that kind of
technical stuff. Yes, editing, sound editing, and stuff.
Really good. There are shows that were silly in the past, but I think that we really, I think that we really had some really amazing writing that we all showed up for. Not every episode, just like any other show. Not every episode.
The writing wasn't nominated for Emmys either. You know, we're all running Dangerfield here. No respect.
Well, we respect each other. I respect you guys.
Right. The thing is, we all knew at the time that we were
exactly. That's all that matters. It's all that matters.
Right.
Not a popularity contest. Let them win that.
Let them deal with it. It's not a fashion show or a.
I like what George Carlin said, that he prefers rewards to awards.
Rewards.
I'm with George. Always.
I like George. I miss George. Imagine him today.
We have been rewarded by, again, the realization that our show is better now in hindsight than perhaps it was in the beginning. And that is a huge reward. That's a huge
because a lot of things don't hold up well in time. You know, sometimes you see things and go, wow, I really used to like this show. This is really pretty banal, but not with Deep Space Nine.
Or it doesn't look very good. You remember it looking amazing, but it doesn't. But our show still looks amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's still pretty remarkable how great it looks.
Pretty. It's really beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've said this all to you before, but again, in response to, as a Trek fan, and yes, Trek fandom, they don't do acquired tastes very well, but they do eventually turn over if it's good, and it obviously was good. This show absolutely has stood the test of time. And once again, I thank everybody for their talents. I thank everybody for their professionalism. And I thank all of you for the performances you brought to your roles on this show.
Thanks, Patty. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Adam, I thank you for your question. And GalaxyCon viewers, this has been my time with the cast of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Friends, it's always been an absolute pleasure. Any final words before we take our leave?
I asked people to look at my books. Thank you, Jeff, for publicizing that. I think you'll all, Illyria, it's Illyria too.
There's the name.
And thank you, Jeff. And I hope people will like that. And if you do like it, or even if you don't like it, write an email or a Twitter or something saying whether you like it or not. Because a lot like working on TV, you never know what an audience response is until a convention, for instance. And as a writer, you don't know what people are thinking because they're enjoying it in the privacy of their home. So thank you.
Please stay safe, get vaccinated, wear masks, keep a distance, stay safe.
Hear, hear, and thank you for sharing my love of all things Star Trek.
Yay. Just wish everyone a good, happy, healthy 2022.
Yes, wishing you so much love too. So much love and peace. Stay safe. We love you.
Thank you guys for your love and support.
And watch Cirroc show. Watch Cirroc.
Yes.
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 Maybe he'll have me on someday.
Exactly.
I don't know.
You haven't
I
been
like
on
doing
yet?
Cirroc show. Everybody's
Oh,
very
man.
nice on Cirroc show.
I think you may be the only person who hasn't been on the show.
Oh, you gotta do it.
I'll tell you, it's a
He's
sad
been
day.
on. He's been
We
on.
were. They invited me, and I was about ready to do it. We were figuring out a date.
I knew I got something better offer.
And Aaron.
You gotta do it.
We lost Aaron, and then that's sort of
Oh, yeah.
Well, you gotta do it.
right. I do have to do it, right, Cirroc?
Yes. Yes.
So enthusiastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty.
Friends, thank
Thanks,
you
Patty.
all. Thank you all once again. My
Nice to
pleasure to
see you
serve
guys.
you all again today. Thank you for joining us on the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Thank you to our audience for joining us. And thank you, as always, for your great questions. Hope to see everybody again soon. Until then, bye-bye, take care, and remember, smiles are free, spend them often.